Hey friends, Ash here, welcome back to Gents. I don't want to alarm you, but a new Hawas just got announced.
And also...
And no, I'm not even effing with you, like another one. Also bros, crazy heat wave going on right now where I am. I hope where you are, it's not as hot as here. But that's not all. Yeah, like the old OxyClean infomercials, that's not all. What else is there? There's a new 1 million. There's a new friggin' Sauvage. There's a new Club de Nuit. There's a new Liquid Brun. There's a new everything. Yeah, there's a ton to talk about. So most of this info I'm gonna pull from My Fragrance Official, which is gonna be linked down below in the description. What do you say we talk Hawas first? Now, Hawas Sapphire, that one just launched, and that's a collaboration with FB Fragrances. He's got a TikTok, he's got a YouTube, a young guy from Australia. Now, I've only talked to him a couple of times, so I don't know him super well, but he did reach out to me on Instagram, actually, and he was like, hey, can I send you a bottle of this so that you can check it out? You know, if you don't want to talk about it, you don't have to. And I was like, yeah, man, I appreciate it, and he took my address. It never arrived. And that's not a shot at him because I mean, he was like, you know, middleman for Rasasi. Also, I have ordered it. So I've paid for it already. It's gonna come, I guess, when it comes and I'll do a review and everything. And let me hit you with the notes on that one really quickly as well. So full note breakdown on this one: bergamot, blackcurrant, and guava up top, orange blossom, sandalwood in the mid, tonka, ambergris, musk in the base. From Rasasi, it says, vibrant and electric Hawas Sapphire is the ocean caught in a flash of lightning. We just had thunder, so thunder comes after Sapphire because this has lightning. Surging with energy, uncontained and brilliant, a striking rush of crisp citrus and sharp sun-warm spices cuts through the air, creating a scent that is boldly magnetic, deeply refreshing, and impossible to ignore. Sun-warm spices, but there are no spices in the note breakdown. A sapphire blue wave breaking under an open sky, boundless, high voltage, and unforgettable, Hawas Sapphire embodies the thrill of a limitless horizon and the magnetic pull of pure, untamed momentum, the scent of power and motion. Now, I think Finn has said that this is not supposed to be a direct clone of anything, so obviously I'm not sure exactly how it's gonna smell until I get it in myself. One other quick update on Rasasi: they actually reached out to me after the last This Week in Fragrance video that I did, where I talked about how kind of, you know, insane all the Hawas fragrances are. But yeah, they reached out to me for the first time ever. I have never spoken to anybody at Rasasi ever. So as of when I'm filming this, this was 11 days ago. And it says that they are reaching out to me regarding an opportunity to collaborate with them around their 2 upcoming launches, Gold Digger and L'Amour. It says they've been following me in the way that I speak to the fragrance community through honest, detailed, and accessible fragrance content. And basically it says, given your strong reach and credibility, that they feel my platform would be a great fit to introduce the launches to a global audience, and that they wanted me to do a podcast style conversation where I go over everything with them about their new fragrances so they can speak about the vision behind them, yada yada, and how Rasasi is building the next chapter for modern fragrance consumers. And then they go on to give me some different things that I could ask them about and cover in this podcast. And I said, no. Because to me, this is basically them saying, hey, so we heard you talking about Hawas and it's kind of, you know, jump the shark and all this stuff. What about if you just maybe, I don't know, shut the up and do this podcast with us where we can, you know, tell your audience how it's actually completely and totally sick. So yeah, I said I wasn't interested in the podcast, the interview, like, no, I don't think so. It's not a good fit. I did say, you know, I was open to talking to them and getting information and all this, but they ghosted me after that when I said no to the whole thing. So sick. There's Hawas Sapphire. The other new one is called Hawas Majestic. Now this one is supposed to be unisex according to what it has online, but of course with like 90% of these Hawas releases, they're really made for men. No notes at this point. iFragrance has citrus, green, woody as the olfactory family, but you know, I'm feeling like that's maybe just a shot in the dark because if you don't have the full note breakdown, I'm not exactly sure how you can say, well, yeah, it's probably citrus. woody and green. But that's what it says right now. Obviously you can see the presentation style and everything. It's done up in like a red gold aesthetic. Now you could read into that and go, Baccarat Rouge 540. And normally I would say, bro, that's insane. Like nobody is gonna come out with a fragrance that smells similar to that nowadays. It's been done to death, but it's Hawas, so it's possible. And I know I'm poking some fun here and everything, but look, at the end of the day, Hawas is still a huge name. They do still have some absolute bangers that come out. They also have some trash that comes out, but you know, they can hit home runs still. So as of right this millisecond, not a whole heck of a lot of info on this new one on Majestic, but we do have that full breakdown on Sapphire. And that one is already available for pre-order, which is what I did. So I'll have a link down below for that. Next up, let's talk about the new 1 million, but before that, codes. The JOMASHOP codes have changed and they only work within the app, so be aware of that. Those are down below, along with other codes that you can copy and paste if you want to save money at different stores like Fragflex, for example, Perfume Box, Beauty House. Gift Express, no more. I don't recommend using Gift Express. If you want to, go for it. I'll say too many issues that kept cropping up, really bad communication, service, stuff like that. And when it gets to the point that I don't have a lot of faith that things are gonna go smoothly for anybody that could go there and use the code, it's just like, I'd rather axe it, just kill the code, be done with it. So that's where that is. All right, check it out. This new one is called 1 million black, which I'm like, okay, cool. 1 million black, nice, cool. I gotta tell you guys, and I really tried not to be just like a putz here. When I saw it was 1 million black, and then I saw the bottle, the one is friggin' huge. And I was just thinking to myself, there has gotta be somebody at Paco Rabanne who was like, yo, check this out. It's gonna be 1 million black, right? The one. Big. Because you know, there had to be some immature person there who was like, yes, sick, ship it. So 1 million black, with the massive one. So this will write up at Scent Advice. The idea behind the launch of Million Black is to reinforce what million stands for the new generation, for the next generation. Because what is at stake for Rabanne is to continue to make the young generation of today dream, to create desire, and to speak to them, and to take their money. Oh, that part wasn't on there, but that's what they're saying. This is exactly what Million Black is trying to do. It's more about intensity. It's more about living life to the fullest. It's not a material success. A woody fragrance, sensual, opulent. Right. Note breakdown here, really simple, really simple. Top notes, tropical notes, including pineapple, and then the mid has a vanilla trio, surprise, and a base of ebony wood. Huh? So yeah, vanilla trio, like I said, not a surprise. 1 million has been hammering the vanilla for a while now, and they're going, full bore, full steam ahead. One type of vanilla is not enough, bros. We need 3. Even though for most people, vanilla is vanilla, Rabanne said, I'm a freaking idiot. We need more. We need to push it as far as it can go. I'm expecting an unbelievable, unhinged level of sweetness with this one. Could be wrong, of course, but just the way that they're giving a lot of lip service to, the next generation, yada yada, and then overloading with tropical freshness and tropical fruits, and then a trio of vanilla, all this. And of course, with it being 1 million, which is already loud with almost every release, the expectation is that it is gonna be just, it's gonna be a lot. Could be friggin' awesome though, don't get me wrong. I do find it a little odd here though, that they're going like, hey, we're going for the young generation of today, blah, 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 blah. Essentially what that comes off as is, hey guys, we're about to sponsor mad TikTok videos with this one. So if we could push that, that'd be great. 1 million black. Also a new one, Arabiyat Prestige coming out with Marwa Extrait. Now with this one, no note breakdowns at this point. So it's just the name, essentially, that's out there and the bottle. But of course, Marwa is essentially the most popular Arabiyat Prestige fragrance. And at this point, when it comes to Middle Eastern houses, dupe houses, they are hitting the flankers. Yeah, once upon a time with dupes, there really weren't flankers for clones. They came out and it just kind of was its own thing. Now, of course, there were lines of fragrances in the sense of L'Aventure from Haramain or Club de Nuit from Armaf, but you didn't have as many brands putting things out where it's like, okay, here's the eau de parfum, here's the parfum, here's the Extrait. But the times have changed, and now we're getting this one. So Marwa, that is an alternative to Imagination by Louis Vuitton, the original. And it's not known to be insanely strong. For a fresh fragrance that smells like Imagination, most people would say it lasts a good amount of time, it projects well and everything. Not crazy, but gets the job done. But they are ramping it up, I would assume, with the Extrait. Basically taking everything and dialing it to 11, I would assume, and trying to make the, standout, powerful alternative to that fragrance, which makes sense because that's still really, really popular, that one. And so if you can come out with like the strongest Imagination dupe on the market, or something that's going to be taken that way, it's probably a pretty good move. So Marwa Extrait coming out very soon. Let's talk next about that new Dior. Yeah, new Sauvage. So those of you out there who have been around for more than, a couple months will remember Francis Kurkdjian's first Dior Sauvage flanker that he came out with. A smashing, unchained success known as Eau Forte. Yeah, who could forget that? Perfect.
It was perfect.
Oh wait, no, that's right, it friggin' sucked. Yeah, that one. Of course, Eau Forte was a complete departure from pretty much everything that Dior had done with every other Sauvage. It was an alcohol-free formula that looked like somebody had Happy Time on your skin wherever you sprayed it.
Bruh.
Gross. It made your skin sticky. It also had crap performance as far as projection goes. Maybe it would last for an okay amount of time, but literally you could pick it up if you were smelling about that far away from where you sprayed it. And also, it didn't really smell like Sauvage. It was just kind of a clean clothing kind of thing. Great. Now Kurkdjian is coming up for his second at-bat in the Dior Sauvage lineup with something completely different, Sauvage Extrait. Because you see they already did the elixir thing, so they can't name it elixir, so they Extrait. Presentation looks slick. I mean, it looks like a retooled version of the elixir bottle, but still, it looks nice, it looks high-end. No breakdown, pretty simplistic. Vietnamese oud, patchouli, cedarwood, and vetiver, also known as the cap and crunch style, oops, all woods, no breakdown. That cereal would suck. Oops, all berries, much better. So the tentative release date on this one is right at the end of this month, July 31st, pricing 50 mil, 205 bucks. I'm really glad they got it just over that $200 price point, man. If it was under that, I'd be so upset. But when I see I'm gonna be paying at least 205, thank you, Dior, thank you. Now, of course, if we compare this to the Sauvage Elixir note breakdown, that one's got a lot more going on. Nutmeg, cinnamon, cardamom, grapefruit. Just off the top, you already have the same number of notes as the new one. Nice! Lavender, licorice, sandalwood, amber, patchouli, also in there, I think. And then vetiver. So you're reusing a lot of the same notes as far as those woody notes go, but then you're adding in the oud. Yeah, that Vietnamese oud. Because everybody knows oud, that's expensive. That means it's good. Now, what I'm most interested in with this one is how much does it depart from what Sauvage is, or what people expect it to be? Because Eau Forte was, like I mentioned, very different. And that went over about as well as going up to a biker gang and kicking over all of their motorcycles like their dominoes. Probably not gonna go over so hot. Now this one, it looks like, just from that little note breakdown, that it's gonna be leaning further into the Sauvage Elixir side of things rather than the Sauvage side of things, like the Eau de Toilette, Eau de Parfum. So that's kind of where I'm tentatively leaning, that this is like the Extrait version of Sauvage Elixir, like an evolution of that. I don't think that they're gonna take another swing where they go, scrap it, just do whatever you want again because of how the last one worked out, but we'll have to see. So there we go, new Sauvage. Nice. I will say I'm way more excited for this one than the last one. Like, not even close. Like, much, much more excited. And there is also a very quick description here that I guess I should have read already. Sauvage reimagined in an exceptional concentration that leaves a powerful and sensual imprint on the skin. Perfume extract is the ultimate form of perfume, enriched with the finest ingredients and increased in concentration. So there's that one. There's also the new Eau de Brun by French Avenue. Liquid, liquid is just not cool anymore. Eau de, that's what's in. So no notes on this one yet, but obviously you can tell it's following up from the limited edition and also the OG. There was a trend online to basically strip like the paint from the Liquid Brun bottle, the OG, and a lot of people were doing it. They're like, oh, this looks cooler this way, and That's basically what they did here is what it looks like as far as the presentation goes. And I'm not sure this would be the greatest idea necessarily. So if this is not the case, I wouldn't be upset, but I'm wondering if they tried to make it like the fresher, more wearable version of the original. Again, I'm not saying that's like the greatest idea in the world. Kamra Waha, like popping into my head. But if they basically went, you know, we did the Extrait version and we went like pushing everything to 11 with that one, you know, ramping everything up. What if we do a version where we mellow it out, smooth it a little bit, make it fresher off the top? Boom, Eau de Brun. And I'm just wondering if that is what they've done. Obviously, it's entirely possible that they're taking it a different direction and they're doing kind of like, going back to Kamra again, Kamra Kawa, Kamra Dukhan, like what they did with those, where they basically said, okay, it's the same vibe, right? The same fragrance that you know and love, but we've changed it this way. We've given it this twist, this twist. If they're doing that, or if it's the fresher take. It's one or the other, right? I guess if we did have the full note breakdown, that would be helpful as far as knowing which one. One thing I do know for certain though, that is gonna be a hot seller when it first comes out. Now, whether or not that continues, as far as like the big sales numbers and all that stuff, is gonna be up to whether it's actually any good. But I am very much looking forward to that one. So as is tradition, a new fragrance got dropped the day after I filmed this. So an extra bonus fragrance to talk about. And it's a pretty big one, all things considered. Montblanc Explorer Infinite Eau de Parfum. Very important to work that in there, the Eau de Parfum. This one is a sophisticated fragrance that captures the essence of adventure and discovery. This perfume with a high quality concentration, also known as Eau de Parfum, offers a fresh and aromatic experience that is perfect for the modern man. The top notes of bergamot and lemon provide a bright opening, while the heart notes of lavender and nutmeg add depth and character. The base of cedarwood and amber give a warm and lasting finish. With an elegant 100 ml bottle, this perfume is ideal for daily use and can easily be integrated into any grooming routine. Thank you for letting me know that, by the way, brand, because if that were not the case, I'd be like, how do I do this? My grooming routine is, how do I work a fragrance into it? So I spray it, drink it? What do I do? Oh, it's easily integrated. Ah, nice. It says that this fragrance is a reliable companion for those who wish to express their unique style with a subtle yet memorable scent. Damn! Yeah, I wouldn't have used that as a descriptor nowadays. Somebody at Montblanc lost the plot because, no offense, but in 26, coming out and saying a subtle yet memorable scent, yeah. Probably not the best way to sell your fragrance, I'm just saying. Usually the whole Unchained crackhead saying that it lasts for 42 hours and will nuke people from orbit, that kind of thing, that moves more bottles. Yeah, trying to be subtle nowadays, that's not the hottest take. Although I will say, there are times that you should wear fragrances that are more subtle, but you know, just as far as grabbing attention, that's not where we're at right now, for better or worse. So yeah, that note breakdown, at least it's more than 3 notes: bergamot, lemon, lavender, nutmeg, cedarwood, amber. Obviously the presentation style completely decked out in blue. So it would be, I think, a pretty safe bet to say that this is a blue fragrance. And I'm not gonna say that they're behind on releasing a blue fragrance, but they absolutely are. And I guess if I had to roll the dice and guess which blue fragrance from the big ones this would smell most similar to, I would guess Sauvage. Obviously it would be done with a little bit of a twist, like the original Explorer is kind of similar to Aventus and whatnot. But yeah, it wouldn't surprise me if this does have a touch of that to it. Although I guess it also wouldn't surprise me if it's kind of dilly-dallying, doing its own thing kind of in that like blue fragrance zone without being exactly the same as one of the other ones that's already out there. Of course, when it comes to Montblanc and Explorer as well, the big thing you want to do typically, unless you're just a massive fan of the brand, of the line, is to wait a little bit. Yeah, patience. And that's because those Explorer fragrances, when they hit discounters, do start to tumble down in terms of pricing pretty quickly. So if this does end up being a very solid blue fragrance, a new entry into the blue fragrance sphere, and you can pick it up for a good price a little while after it's been released, could be a nice intro for a lot of people. Just a nice daily wear fragrance for somebody looking for a subtle yet memorable scent. All right, hopefully another new fragrance doesn't get announced tomorrow and I have to do this again. So for now, back to me in the past. All right, let's wrap everything up with Club de Nuit Intense Overdose. Now they also just had like a big freaking party for this thing. I've been seeing it all over the internet. And I do have one of these on the way, so I'll let you know pretty soon whether it's good or not. I do also wonder to an extent if Armaf saw Hawas come out with Hawas Overdose and they were just like, we were gonna release it first, but they stole it from us. Hawas Overdose. Here's a little ride up here, so let's go ahead and hit that. Club de Nuit Intense Overdose builds on the signature DNA. What does that signature DNA smell like? I just don't remember. Club de Nuit signature DNA. Anyway, builds on the signature DNA that made the original a worldwide success, delivering a richer, deeper, and more addictive interpretation for those who embrace confidence without compromise. Developed in collaboration with acclaimed actor and style icon, John Abraham, the launch marks one of Armaf's most ambitious global campaigns to date. Known for his authenticity, confidence, and enduring appeal, John Abraham embodies the spirit of Overdose, bold, magnetic, and impossible to ignore. The composition opens with bergamot, tangerine, pineapple, and blue crystals. How does a blue crystal smell? They watched Breaking Bad. Ah.
You're goddamn right.
I see what they're talking about. Blue crystals. At its heart, vanilla flower, oak moss, and plum create depth and sophistication, while amber, patchouli, tonka bean, and white powder leave a lasting impression. What is that? That's not how I laugh. Does this for real have those notes? Oh my God, it does. Bergamot, tangerine, pineapple, and blue crystals off the top. Vanilla flower, oak moss, plum in the mid. Amber, patchouli, tonka, and white powder in the base. It's named Overdose. It has blue crystals and white powder. Come the frig on. Nice. With Overdose, we were never looking to replace a legend. We wanted to elevate it. This launch represents the next legacy of Armaf, combining innovation, immersive storytelling, and our collaboration with John Abraham to create an experience consumers will remember long after the fragrance is worn. Friggin' awesome. Club de Nuit Intense Overdose just jumped to the top of the list. This is gonna be the best. So this is obviously like an evolution of the original Club de Nuit Intense styling, as far as the note breakdown goes, with tangerine, bergamot, pineapple, you know, vanilla, and all of this. And outside those imaginary notes, which blue crystals, white powder, I'm not sure exactly how those are supposed to smell. Everything else looks good. And if this stuff comes out and absolutely rips as far as how it smells and how it performs, then people are gonna, you know, maybe poke some fun, but they're gonna go, it is really good though. And to be fair to Armaf, they have not hammered Club de Nuit the same way that Rasasi is hammering Hawas right now. So I know it's easy to be like, oh, Club de Nuit, another Club de Nuit Intense, but this one looks like it's actually got some legs, a little bit of a different vibe than some of the other CD and IM versions that have come out of late. There it is, guys, just a lot of stuff to unpack. Let me know which of these fragrances you're looking forward to the most. I will say, even though some of them are maybe making me go a little bit, they do sound good, at least the ones that I know a little bit more about. And on some of those with no note breakdowns right now, I'm assuming probably in the next like 3 or 4 days, they probably will have them up there. So again, ifragranceofficial.com, linked in the description in case you want to keep up with those and everything. Thank you guys for hanging with me. Stay safe out there. Take care of yourselves. See you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.